What's a modern-day poison people willingly ingest? Personally, I'm horrendously addicted to nicotine and it's probably killing me. It took me a solid month to quit. Switched to 4 mg gum for 2 weeks, then 2 mg for the next 2. I hate the gum, so it slowly became less and less because I just couldn't be bothered as often, until I just stopped altogether. It's a pretty strange feeling as I have been using nicotine daily, hourly probably, for 11 years. Feel more calm in a way. Really miss it for certain occasions though. After the gym and after sex I miss that little extra reward. I smoked 2.5 packs per day for approximately 18 years, quit cold turkey the day my wife told me she was pregnant with our first kid. That was pretty difficult. Haven't touched nicotine since, but man I miss it. I have dreams where I'm smoking, and I wake up feeling guilty that I ruined my streak. I had a failed back surgery a few years later, major malpractice that resulted in partial paralysis and an uncontrolled pain crisis for over a year, resulting in me taking massive amounts of oxy. They had me on 180 mg extended release 3x day, and 50 mg normal 6x day. Among other things. After 3 years of this I couldn't take it anymore and I went to my brother's and quit the opiates cold turkey. I would quit smoking 1,000 times in a row before going through the opiate withdrawals again. Quitting smoking is hard, but at least it doesn't hurt. Those talking videos with like 3 things happening on the screen simultaneously. Social media is already absolutely atrocious for attention span, using that many distractions on a 30s clip just exponentially enhances that problem. I don't subscribe to anybody that does that sort of shit, but the first time I saw a video that was meant to be informative, with Minecraft parkour in the background on the top half, and funny cat memes on the bottom half, I realized we've reached internet supersaturation. We can't go any lower. We've reached internet rock bottom. We can go deeper still. Facebook edit. Facebook, Instagram, etc. Any social media where you're comparing your life against other people's lives. People need to learn to treat social media like a Photoshop image. It may look real but it may not be. Those shorts videos that now are almost in every platform, if you have problems with focus and getting shit done then you know that if you keep watching them you might end up in the next day without even realizing you haven't done anything yet. One creator I watch on YouTube has basically said, I have to resort to making these shorts or I'll disappear as a creator. It's crappy that these platforms are forcing it on everyone involved. Yay. I follow a few people and they're always apologizing about clickbait titles and misleading thumbnails, but say they don't get nearly as much traffic without them. There's a guy that I watch that does a bunch of car stuff on YouTube. He's pretty successful, doing well enough that he quit his mechanic job to do YT stuff full time. Anyway, he had a video about a short of his that went viral and had millions of views, but his earnings from the short were a pittance compared to those of a full-length video, with less views. I thought that was interesting. Edit. So people will stop asking, it's no nonsense no how. 24-hour news cycle. My grandparents. All day every day. It pains me to see. I've noticed this among my age group, Boomers TV on practically 247, especially news, and it repeats the same thing over and over. Spent the day with a friend and that's all they wanted to do was sit and watch the news. They'd comment on something. Then an hour later when the same story was repeated, they'd comment age like we hadn't already heard the same thing an hour ago. I don't even own a TV and everything about my life is so very very different. Why are boomers just obsessed with this? What do they know that we don't? Maybe something they didn't have when younger? Outrage. It's straight up poison to your mental health, but we thrive on it, yearn for it. Places like TikTok, Twitter, and our public freakout pass it out like dealers for little more than some attention, poisoning people to feel popular. Worse, it's useful to those in control, so there's no escaping it. Political parties and activists need you outraged, one-tracked, immune to real empathy, and motivated to solidify their power, so here we are. I avoided scrolling through Reddit's popular feed for years because it was so full of outrage subs like, r, public freakout, r, trashy, r, idiots in cars, r, I am a total piece of shit etc. I don't want that negativity in my feed. Once they added support for blacklisting subs I immediately added those. Yeah, I did this too. It was almost surprising how much of a difference it made on my day. I didn't realize just how much it made me feel like shit and carried it through the day and to the people in my life. Found a bunch of uplifting, interesting, hobby subs and it made Reddit such a more positive experience on my life. I did the same when I realized Reddit was pushing videos of people getting murdered and beat up to me on a daily basis. I had to ask myself why I was starting my day by watching that shit. I'm gonna say vaping. I knocked it on the head as my New Year's resolution. First time I've been completely nicotine-free, and still going strong, but I genuinely felt like I was about to cough my lungs up about 90% of the time vaping. If I have to be honest, I don't miss either, but I started vaping to stop smoking. I hate seeing young kids and teens do it, ones who wouldn't have even considered smoking. I truly lucked out. When I got pregnant, I had to stop vaping for obvious reasons, but my nausea was so bad, I couldn't even be in the same room as vape juice without vomiting. Huge aversions. After I had my baby, I wanted that nicotine again, but thankfully my aversions are still going strong. Been 3 years vape-free. Social media. Deplatforming myself off of most social media has given me a huge change in mood for the better. I'm pretty sure with the amount of vitriol that gets thrown around in social media, I would have gone mental after a while. I'm glad that I have given myself more opportunities to live in the moment of my life rather than deal with others judging me for superficial and wasteful reasons. Edit. Added context. This shit. My mood, general happiness, attitude, and motivation are inversely proportional to the amount of time I spend on Reddit. Yet here I am. I have a book to work on. I have things to clean. I have an army to paint. Instead of doing those things, I'm watching people complain about how frustrating traffic is in Cities Skylines, a game I do not play. This shit is worse than drugs. The solution is to get off Reddit and play Cities Skylines. Work 5 to 6 days a week and having no life. The commuting. I knew a guy who moved from the city to the suburbs so he could enjoy lounging around his house and playing the backyard instead of being in an apartment. He spends more than an hour commuting each way, meaning he gets home, does a few chores, watches a show or plays a game and goes to bed because he has to wake up early. He actually has less leisure time to enjoy life. Also +1 on the commutes. I work the 9 to 5 days a week, but since all but getting rid of my commute I have so much more time when work's over, and I don't have to get up nearly as early. It's been great and I wish more people had that option, or could simply reduce their work hours without reduced pay. Our work culture is such a bad poison. Overall though, so many of the bad habits of our daily lives are because we're trying to reclaim our personal time. Our diets turn to fast food so we reduce the time we spend cooking. Sleep procrastination is huge and probably as big a contributor to our overall health problems as our diets, and drugs and other escapist hobbies aren't fulfilling so much as they are attempts at distracting from a dreary life outlook. Processed sugars. Cutting sugar back makes me feel so much better. I've been in decent shape for most of my life. I got into running a lot last year and felt pretty good. When fall hit and the times changed, I slowed down my running. Then I had my first kid in late fall and basically stopped running altogether. Lots of quick meals mixed with holiday food and sodas and sweets to keep me moving. I didn't want to think about being hungry with a kid to manage, so I just munched on quick stuff that usually had lots of sugar in it. I've cut that all back over the last few weeks and feel a lot better. The best part is not feeling bloated. I could almost feel my gut growing during that period. Not fun. I started snacking on fruit more often and my cravings for sour candy, chocolate, ice cream, and other things I'd binge on and feel shitty just simply fell away. Weird how that works. This will get buried, but, as a gay man, I'm just really wanting to know, when can we talk about the dangers of poppers? Poppers is like the LGBTQ equivalent of weed. I'm not talking about the effect or intake method. I'm talking about how nobody ever wants to even consider the possibility that it could be doing harm to your body, and especially your heart. Poppers used to be used to treat angina. They actively speed up your heart and cause an arrhythmia, especially if you were mixing it with weed. It mimics effects like taking an upper and a downer at the same time. And because the effect of popper only lasts about a minute, most guys need to take them repeatedly to make the feeling last. It's completely normal for some guys to mix poppers with weed, Viagra, meth, tea, etc. Lots of guys are so addicted that they literally cannot have sex without it. I get so turned off when I have a hookup with a guy and he can't go 30 seconds without huffing poppers. It's such a stop-and-go activity that it's honestly annoying and I hate the smell. And you can buy a bottle here in Chicago for $15. There are even gay bars with popper vending machines. Please stop using that shit. I could make the same argument for those compressed sprays that people mix with poppers like Maximum Impact or Rush. But alas, nobody will listen to me. That was a brave comment. The community can be really toxic towards internal critique. Sips coffee, takes bong hit, doom scrolls Reddit. Fuck, I can't think of any edit. My favorite thing about this is the legions of people defending coffee and weed and literally nobody defending Reddit. Me ironically reading this as I hit my vape 15 minutes into waking up. 15 minutes? What took you so long? Alcohol. When you quit drinking, you start to really notice how much advertising there is for it everywhere. Billboards, TV ads, stickers, banners, during sporting events, commercials, and every 5 minutes in any drama or comedy on TV. Watching How I Met Your Mother, or Mad Men, and taking a sip every time someone on the show does, and you'll be in a coma in no time. So many shows have it one-on-one, where someone walks over to their liquor cart in their office and pours whiskey. It's everywhere.